Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends. I am super excited. So we got the official news yesterday, of course, that we got to announce that the aliens and predators, the collab, right, with the free character being the Xenomorph character. I am ecstatic about this. Part of the reason why is I think this is going to be an amazing time for new players and new accounts. This is going to be a great way to get new players into Raid Shadow Legends because the free Xenomorph that we're going to get is going to synergize very well with my new promo link that has the recently reworked Narma. And so in today's video, I do kind of want to talk about why Xenomorph is going to be so amazing and also some other stuff as well. But, I want to talk about how this is going to really step up and push progression, especially in Clan Boss, Demon Lord, which is, basically the most important thing in Raid Shadow Legends. So we're going to break that down. And we're also going to be talking about what I'm going to be doing on my main account. So we're on my alt account currently right now, which is, I believe, on day, where am I on my daily logins? Day 15. So I missed a few days this weekend because I was away for my partner's birthday. But we are back now today on day 15, and I did log in yesterday to get the start of the Xenomorph chase. So I'm on a day, or tomorrow will be day 3. So I've ticked that off. So we have 5 more days until the unlock. So I'm super excited about that. We're going to be talking about that a little bit more. Of course, before we get started, I do want to remind people that if you want to make this new account that we're talking about, or if you want an alt account, Narma the Returned, recently reworked, absolutely free by using the QR code or the link below. And these 3 amazing epics, Ugo, Tagore, and my favorite, Deacon Armstrong, at accounts level 15, 30, and 40. And I still personally recommend using this promo code for Tholen Falbeard, which is the promo code Demon Slayer, in the first 48 hours of a brand new account. So let's talk about Narma, and also let's talk about Xenomorph, right? So I want to kind of jump in to do a little bit more of a deep dive of the Xenomorph kit. Like, I am super impressed with this, especially as a freebie. And there was a few other things that I didn't really notice. But let's just start off as we're gonna kind of jump into my main account later, but talk about the Dark Elf faction, because like this is actually really good for me because I don't have very strong DPS in Dark Elves, and especially when you're wanting to go a little bit further in the faction and Cursed City kind of traits. This is a pretty good one. And we're going to start at the passive, actually, because I think this synergizes really well with Narma. So whenever this champion is attacked, has a 25% chance to place a 5% poison debuff on the attacker for 2 turns. Narma has a very similar one. We'll talk about her very briefly after this, though. This debuff cannot be resisted or blocked if the attack is critical. Now, I guess that's if the enemy crits Xenomorph, right? So this would be more appropriate, I suppose, for AoE. But he has other parts of his kit where if he crits, he doesn't need accuracy. If an enemy is under a poison debuff, just one, placed by this champion, though, decrease their defense by 20%. So this is quite substantial. This might not be as big on Demon Lord as it might be on, say, Hydra or maybe Chimera or something like this damage-wise, because, Demon Lord doesn't actually have a ton of defense to begin with compared to some of the other bosses, especially in hard mode boss fights, but I still think that's pretty good nonetheless. Now, starting with his A1, which for a lot of people they might lead in with. Attack an enemy, place a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns, right? And this doesn't even need books. This part doesn't need books. Place 3 5% if it's attack. So you want to make sure that he's crit capped, right? That you have a 100% critical chance. He's a DPS champion. 3 3 poison debuffs on an A1 is wild. This is like Kale on steroids. Also places a perfect veil on this buff for on the champion for 2 turns. So this is guaranteed, right? All this stuff is guaranteed. It's just pretty crazy. So he does need a little bit of accuracy to land this stuff, right? Especially if you're using this in a clan boss scenario. But wow, in the perfect veil. So the perfect veil is more important to the other parts of the kit. So A2 Infestation attacks one enemy before attacking, places a stun debuff, and Infest, which is the brand new mechanic noob debuff that he has, on the target for 2 turns. These debuffs cannot be resisted if this champion is under perfect veil. So if you start with A1 and lead in with the A2, or you have some other way to give him perfect veil, this he doesn't need as much accuracy, right? Because this is going to be unresistible. Also places a true fear debuff on everybody else, and this also is unresistible if he's under perfect veil. Okay, this infest boss debuff, it does more than what I thought. Honestly, I thought it was just the revive mechanic. Revives this champion with 50% HP and 50% turn meter whenever an enemy under an infest debuff dies. I guess if he is dead before this goes off. But I didn't know until I actually looked into the more info button that this actually does a lot more than it says, right? I thought it was just the revive part. Whenever an enemy under an infest debuff dies, deals pure damage to all other alive enemies. This is equal to 50% of the enemy's max HP who died under the infest debuff. This pure damage cannot be critical. The pure damage dealt upon killing a boss or their minions cannot exceed more than 10% of their max HP. Okay, so what I'm thinking is using this in the scenario, and I'll have to test this later on, or maybe there's, I don't know, maybe there's some content creators in the content creator program who have the test server, but doing this on say infesting the spider boss, or hard or normal mode, and then spreading this with Mikey or some other character, and this was just, and then they start blowing up because it would hit everyone else. It would be like burn on steroids, right? And so this would do a crap ton of damage. This is, or on wave content or whatever, right? Like this could be really, really powerful. Also, what I really like is that his skills are on a cooldown of 4, booked down to 3, of course, but like the base is 4 instead of 5. Some champions have like 5 down to 3. So this is really powerful. But if you don't have any other way to perfect veil, you'd want to kind of A1 and then A2, right? And then finally, the A3 just does a lot of bulk damage. Attack one enemy 2 times and does 15% more damage for each poison debuff on the target. And when we're talking about Narma, like there's going to be a lot of poisons on the boss. For clan boss, anyways, this could be a lot of extra damage. And then if he doesn't have perfect veil, he will get it again through this. I think it's better to go A1, A2, A3. I think that seems to make more sense to prioritize it that way. And then it'll just put the perfect veil back up, I guess, again. So you'll get it for 2 turns from the A1. You'll get it on the infestation so that you can land all that stuff. You get it again from A3, and you'd probably honestly get it back again on A1 because you go back into that because your cooldowns are the way it is, unless you have some way to reduce your cooldowns like Donnie or something like this from the Ninja Turtles. But this is just could be really, really powerful. 15% more damage for each poison debuff. Now, I don't know how many you're going to stack up, maybe 5 or 6, because you don't want to like poison cap the enemy because then you can't land other debuffs. But I want to talk about this in conjunction with Narma because this is just going to be really powerful. And Narma is of the Knights Revenant faction. So for my new account, my alt account, or for anyone else who starts a new account using my link, right? So Narma has this thing whenever an ally is attacked, places a 5% poison debuff on the attacker, or if it's her, it's 50%. But when the Demon Lord does a smash or whatever, or a boss does an AoE, it's per champion. So you could potentially stack anywhere from 1 to 5 poisons in one round. Now she has a good way that she can kind of like blow this up, so she can activate the poisons, which kind of means that the poisons won't they won't always be there. You'll be able to blow it up, even if it's Xenomorph's poison. You'll be able to blow that up as well for more damage. But overall, like I just think that this keeps like so the poisons. This is actually probably better. So hopefully that we can line this up. That Xenomorph will do his A3 before the poisons blow up. I would normally end up doing the A3 first, and then I guess it's going to go into the A2. So if Xenomorph is fast enough, hopefully that we would be able to do the damage on the A3 before blowing up the poisons, and then blow up the poisons afterwards. And then we just start the thing all over again, right? That's the ideal scenario. I'd have to kind of play with it. But I mean, I'm really excited to use these 2 characters in conjunction. Also, Narma's passive, that the enemies deal 5% less damage per poison debuff on them. And this part does not specifically have to be Narma's poisons. It can be anyone's poisons, including the Xenomorph. So I am super excited to kind of see how this synergizes, especially increasing my damage on Clan Boss. So where I'm currently at day 50, I'm 2 weeks in, basically, and I don't have a free 5 red character. Like a lot of people who started maybe like a month ago have like a 5 red Mikey. Like I don't have that, so I'm looking forward to the unlock of the Xenomorph to be able to do that. I am actually just going to wait for the payout so I can do another round of Brutal and just kind of show you where things currently sit right now with me. Okay, so I just want to go into battle with my current clan boss team that I'm running right now. One change that I might end up making is because I recently ended up picking up Stag Knight on my alt account, which I'm kind of still leveling up right now. So one thing that I would maybe change is we would change Madame Saris for Stagnite once I get him up a little bit more, because he does put the same debuffs that Madame Ceres does, but I think might be a little bit better because of the accuracy passive. Otherwise, as far as what characters that I would change out, you know what? Actually, I might actually just have to put Xenomorph in this spot. The only thing is that I would be losing the attack down, and I won't have that on any other character. So, I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna do here, but as far as who I'm gonna replace with Xenomorph, because I do have a pretty decent lineup at the moment, I don't know if Tholin's someone that I would want to get rid of or not. But anyways, my point of showing this is kind of like how I lead in on my clan boss here and just showing off Narma once again because it's just such a crazy start here, honestly. We'll put this up. One thing that I am worried about a little bit is, especially with Farrakhan the Fat can also put up more poisons, that I'm wondering whether or not I'm going to be debuff capped with my Xenomorph. Because you can see right now, mainly want to. I have a lot of other debuffs, right? I do have attack down, I have defense down, and I just blew it up, right? We have poison sensitivity and weaken from Tholin. So I only really have space for probably about 5 poison debuffs, anyways. And the burn from Farrakhan kind of makes this kind of tricky here. So I'm actually not sure who I'm going to remove for Xenomorph. I think that Farrakhan is really, really powerful in Clan Boss, right? You know, having that ally attack, which is going to be amazing for Xenomorph and Narma, because Narma's A1 actually extends debuffs too. So by the time the poisons get blown up, like this is going to be a lot of extra damage. And so this really comes down to maybe it's the Madame Ceres. But if I remove Madame Ceres for Xenomorph, I don't have attack down. The question is, do I need that? Because I guess Narma's passive does. I mean, it's obviously nice to have, right? But Narma's passive does reduce damage, and I don't think I can get rid of Tagore because Tagore's speed up and the healing. Particularly the speed up, I think is really important. So the only thing would be like, is it possible that the damage coming from Xenomorph is that much better than my Tholin? And that's something that I'll have to test, right? Like I can't imagine removing Tholin for clan boss, but boy, because actually he reduces the attack as well from the boss with his A2. So I'm Farrakhan's so good, right? I'm leaning here on the left side. So if anyone's watching this and has any suggestions or even thoughts about what's gonna happen in about 5 days, I'm not sure where I'm not. There's some testing I have to do on the alt account, but I'm just super excited to do this anyways. It's just a poison fiesta with this group. And finally, before we end the video, I just want to talk about Xenomorph from the perspective of my main account. So where will I be using him here? Probably, not in Clan Boss because I've already mastered that at this point, right? I'm already simming Ultra Nightmare. But the Dark Elf faction for me has not been super amazing. I do have a few characters that obviously were free to play. Lydia, Vizix, and Mithrala. But as far as my damage goes, it's not something that I have a lot of. Maybe, I recently pulled Foley like a couple of weeks ago that I haven't really done much for, and maybe that's something that I need to do. But other than that, like I'm just crutching on a couple of epic characters, and when it comes to Cursed City and even progressing further in faction crypts, I'm not having a good time. Like I have Kale, I have Cold Heart, but like it's not as powerful as having like a strong legendary character. My best epic attacker for Dark Elves, I believe, is Durandal. I took him up to 50 for Cursed City that I needed to. He had some free stuff and he had some AoE, which wasn't bad. But I think that Xenomorph is going to fulfill a very important nuker role. He doesn't have AoE, but that infest part I think is going to be very good for wave content. He also has True Fear AoE. So actually, yeah, he might have a very good controlling aspect that I don't have on this faction. And so for that kind of content, for the kind of Cursed City, for faction Chris, where I can use him, I think he's actually going to be very good. And I'm really excited to be able to use him there. The other thing that I want to mention that before we end the video is that I'm super happy about the Predator Champion Pass. Even if you're completely free to play, there is a free to play feast that's going to be available, which should be available within a week or so when you get to the end. And that's something that you could probably use to max out your Xenomorph if you really want. I mean, it's designed for using it on Predator here, I suppose, and you get more out of it by using it on an Epic. But realistically, for new players to get an free feast, and this stuff is going to be absolutely amazing. Now, people are wondering maybe whether or not I'm going to be buying the Champion Pass, and the answer is yes, I am going to be buying that because I do have a little bit of FOMO. If I don't buy it, it's going to be a bit challenging for me to get free to play. I believe that there might be an option, actually. I saw it in the news. Was it here? There was some I saw something about events coming. Where was it? I thought I saw something about, I don't know where it was actually, but something where there's a couple of events that might be coming to the game that might allow you to summon for him, limited summon events. I didn't play when He-Man was out, but I heard from others that this was a thing where you were able to get it free to play with a progressive or something like that for Predator, so this might come back around. But I am going to go ahead and buy the Elite Pass, just not the Premium Elite Pass. I am going to just, because why rush it? I don't need to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and buy this, and I'm going to be hopefully being able to use this as well for Lizardman faction, right? And I don't have a very good one there either, so I'm looking forward to that. So we got that. Did we buy it? Nope. I still have to do that. Make sure I hit the button. Let's do that. Return to the game. And it is available, and thankfully we have the claim all button. So there we go. That's the Champions Pass done, and that is something that I am looking forward to when that becomes available. I think I will be able to get them unlocked for the Champion Chase over this weekend. Same with the Xenomorph unlock. So that's going to help me get a little bit further ahead on Cross, because I am still going ahead with this wherever he is here. But I'm probably going to end up having to buy the remaining fragments that I missed from skipping Summon Rush, because I didn't actually do that here on my account. I also have 2 Remnant Summons, which I'll probably do later on this weekend for Champion Chase as well. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. I am super excited to talk about more, whether it's on my main account or whether it's my alt account, with this new collab stuff with the Xenomorph and Predator. Super excited. And I'll see. Oh, wait, I forgot. Before we go, don't forget to download using the QR code in the top right, because if you want to have an amazing start with both the Xenomorph and Narma the Return recently reworked, there you go with the QR code in the top right, and Ugo, Tagore, and Deacon Armstrong at account level 15, 30, and 40. Some amazing epics. And don't forget, Tholen, using the promo code Demon Slayer within the first 48 hours of a brand new account. Okay, that's it for now, everyone. And I'll see you guys on the next video. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.